Okay, today we're going to start another chapter, a chapter on accounts receivable. Now you recall way back we talked about selling services on an account where we debited accounts receivable, we credited fee income like consulting income. Later on we moved up to merchandising businesses where we sold inventory on an account. The same thing, we debited accounts receivable, we credited sales, and then we took it out of our inventory by debiting cost of goods sold and crediting inventory. So now that we booked all our accounts receivable to all our customers, something that arises sometimes is that customers don't pay. I know you're all shocked, but not every customer pays their accounts receivable. And GAAP requires us to estimate what's going to be uncollectible. You don't wait to after the fact. You have to estimate at the time you sell how much is going to be uncollectible. And because we're required on our balance sheet to show accounts receivable at net realizable value. Now, remember we talked about inventory and lower cost of market, we talked about net realizable value. We said that's the amount of cash you can actually get for the inventory. So it's the same thing here. This is the amount of cash we can actually get for our accounts receivable after taking bad debts into account. So we'll say net realizable value, we're going to say the amount, expect to collect. So here's like an excerpt from our balance sheet. We're going to show our accounts receivable, which is basically our gross accounts receivable. We need to estimate what's going to be uncollectible, and that's going to be in this account called allowance for doubtful accounts, which gets deducted, and that will give us our net accounts receivable. So the allowance for doubtful accounts is going to be a contra asset. Right, so a contra asset has a credit balance, but it's shown in the asset section. That's why it's being deducted. Just like accumulated depreciation is another contra asset. All right, so now I guess the $1 million question is this. All right, how do I determine the allowance? All right, we know we need to book an allowance for doubtful accounts. The question is, how do I determine the allowance for doubtful accounts? And there's two broad methods that we could use. All right. The first method to determine the allowance, believe it or not, is called the allowance method. All right, not very creative. The allowance method. And the second method is called direct write-off. These are two ways actually of handling bad debts. Direct write-off is used only in limited circumstances. So the main method required by GAAP is called the allowance method. And in our next video, we're going to go into detail about how to do the allowance method. So thanks, I'll see you then. Bye.